Well, it's World Youth Day, but did you know it's also World Television Day? In 1996, the United Nations declared November the 21st as a day to recognise the important role TV has played in communication through information sharing, entertainment and decision making. So we thought we'd chat with our head of TV, Michael Brown. Michael, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Well, I just mentioned about the power of television to influence entertainment, information and decision making. Those are key areas of life. Where do those sit with Shine in terms of our mission?
Well, it's a great question, and for Shine TV and Rema Media, our mission and heart has always been about helping people take their next right step in finding Christ or on their journey of faith. And I think it's interesting that media and television, certainly as a part of it, has always been a mirror and a reflection of society, but also has taken on the role to be able to lead as well. If I think back to the early 1970s, at that time, in America, in the terms of cultural influence, the role that the hour of power at that time and the televangelists they took in the context of the time to be able to reach society as it was the medium of the day. And that's where it sits for Shine TV as well. You know, there's a lot of things happening in society, and television's a big part of that. So to be able to share the gospel, to be able to share what it means to be a Christian and a life lived in faith and in service to others, those are the stories that we get to tell. And we get to tell them in a unique sense from our unique Kiwi perspective. What does it mean to be a Kiwi Christian living in Aotearoa in 2021, 2022? What does it mean? And we just love to be able to share those stories.
Michael, I mean, it's an incredible privilege as well as a responsibility that is taken deadly seriously here at Shine. So what are some of the recent ways in which the channel has helped inform our Shine family of viewers?
You know, Kathy, informing viewers and helping them with the decision making, or just reflecting and hearing the thoughts and views of others is a really important part. Just recently, we've been sharing a whole series of special Shine Today episodes, as you'll know, and it's been fantastic just to be able to hear perspectives, not just from a Christian worldview, but also from others in society about the role of, how do we as the church sit together in this pandemic when there are things like vaccines and mandates, and where does that sit for us as a church and for believers? And you look back a little further than that as well. Last year, the role of the election as well, and how do we inform that, not just from what other people might say, but as a community of believers, what are the voices that we think and each other as we listen to each other and reflect on, are we listening to what God is saying through His church in New Zealand?
Michael, what about our entertainment appeal? How important is that?
Entertainment's hugely important. I think people just like to have fun, and it's a really important part of life. It's as important as going to church as it is to live life. And we get a lot of feedback from Shine viewers about the programs that they love on Shine too. Of course, Kathy, When Calls the Heart, Die, yes. Signed, Sealed, Delivered. And I think the importance of these programs, recently we were talking with Brian Bird. He's the executive producer of When Calls the Heart, and further back of the television series Touched by an Angel, and he described what it was and why programs like that are so important. And he talked about the yearning innate yearning in everybody's soul for something that was good, and whether as Christians we might know that or say, well, that's the God-shaped gap in each of us. But even if people are not aware of that, God has still placed that in their hearts and in their inner being, that deep desire to be able to know that which is good. And I think by having programs on Shine that share the values that we as Christians, we read about in the Bible, and then as part of that journey of leading people on that journey towards knowing Jesus, and then of course the truths in the Bible as well. It's an incredibly important part, and just I would say for many a relief and a contrast to perhaps some of the values that might be seen in other media sometimes that can be a bit upsetting for people.
Michael, it's not just about entertaining either and informing, but also our programs do uplift and unite as well, don't they? I'm thinking of, prayer, church unity kind of focuses as well.
Yeah, just even this week, Kathy, earlier this week was a real privilege to be able to participate and host the online Auckland Prayer Breakfast out of our studios here at Shine TV. I think about the Auckland Prayer Breakfast, 300 or more than 300 churches coming together, united with one purpose, and that's to pray for their city. And we just know that there were thousands of people from not just across Auckland, but across New Zealand and beyond as well, who were praying for not just our biggest city, but for their cities, praying for the peace and prosperity of the cities, praying for the needs in our cities. So to be a part of that, and that's one of the unique roles that television can play in just bringing those together. You mentioned church at home, and we love that we get to partner with so many churches from across New Zealand and to be able to help share their voice of what God is doing through so many different denominations and communities of believers for those who are not able to attend in their own congregations at the moment.
Michael, obviously TV has changed so much since it was first invented a century ago, and even in our own lifetime. I mean, 5-10 years ago, I don't know if I would have thought about doing a remote interview with you on telly. I mean, how has technology affected the way we do things here at Shine, particularly with how we reach out to people?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, television has always been, I think, a reflection and a mirror of society. And as technology has changed and adapted in society, television has too. And at Shine, we're no different. And I love that we get to use the technology of today. In the 1970s and the 80s, and even earlier than that, you may have been lucky if you had 1 or 2 channels and people would gather around that and watch their channel. And if there was a church on a Sunday, as pioneered by televangelists, that was the means of the day to be able to communicate. Today, technology's changed, and of course, because of the pandemic, many more of us are familiar with online meetings, but we get to record stories in this way, and we'd be able to still get to share the heart of what Jesus is doing. So I love that we can use technology. I love that people can connect with us, not just through the broadcast, and there'll be those today that are watching on Shine TV on its various platforms, but some might also be watching on our live streams or on demand later as well, and including through the Shine TV app. There's a small plug if you haven't downloaded already. Download the app, put it on your smartphone, and watch the programs that you want to whenever you want.
Michael, going forward, there's a lot to look forward to ahead, not only in terms of technology, new media platforms, but also our content on Shine. Can you give us a bit of a preview, sneaky look at some of the shows that we can look forward to, say, over Christmas and next year, 2022?
Absolutely. Well, I have to say that Christmas is certainly one of my favorite times of the year. It is, of course, the time that we get to tell the greatest story of Jesus coming to earth. And on Shine, we're absolutely excited. We've got a full month of Christmas movies and features, and they'll be available on Shine On Demand from beginning of December, and of course on Shine TV as well every night. And they're great stories, and they're not just the very best Christmas movies available. There's a few special Kiwi treats in there as well. And I know there's even in terms of church services, there's a church on the Hibiscus coast of Auckland who are getting ready to record their Christmas Eve service. And you know what? We're looking forward to broadcasting and sharing that on Shine TV too, because it's a reflection of us. It's a reflection of how we as a church and as a community of believers in New Zealand, how we celebrate and we do life together. So that's Christmas. And then, of course, into the new year, you know what, there's a lot that we're looking forward to. Kathy, I mentioned When Calls the Heart before. Well, a little teaser, Kathy, March. That's the word on the street. So we're looking forward to, you heard it here perhaps first, really looking forward to the launch of season 9. Can you believe it? Of When Calls the Heart. And also for our Signed, Sealed, Delivered fans, some people have been asking, they'll be aware that there has been a brand new Signed, Sealed, Delivered movie just made, and we'll be airing that in the new year as well. Of course, next year we're really looking forward to sharing and through 2022 stories of what God is doing here in New Zealand, what God does through his people. So stay tuned, there'll be plenty more to come.
Well, Thanksgiving is coming up on Thursday. Now, Michael, I know you lived in the US for a wee while. I think it's a fantastic tradition. So as we come to a close, what are you thankful for this year?
Di, I'm always thankful. Well, two groups of people actually. I mentioned earlier the churches that we air on Church at Home, and I'm really thankful for them. It's not easy for them, and it's a fairly heavy burden for them to be able to record the services that they do and to prepare them in a way to make them available for their online congregations, but also for broadcast here on Shine TV. And I want to give a shout out to them. It's a lot of work for their teams and their volunteers in the midst of a pandemic, but they do it and they know that it's just reaching, you know, so many people who are not able to meet in person at the moment. And of course, my biggest shout out and thanks goes to the Shine TV viewers. That's those who are watching right now. You know what? Shine is a viewer-supported channel. It's only possible because of the people that make it possible, and those that pray for this ministry, and those that support it financially as well. And you know what, I said before that television is a reflection and it's a mirror on society. And I think you know, our heart and hope would be that Shine TV 2 would be a mirror and reflection of the Christian community, the body of Christ in New Zealand, and those that call this channel their own, that it can continue to be a light in our community.